Definitely recording. We're on. Okay, I'm excited to be here. This is take two. There's no other way to say that. I'm here with
5 minutes in, Jay.
only maybe 2 minutes in. I'm here with Robert Fiveash again, and this is our deep dive. We're excited. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, every Wednesday night we have a promo chat, and we had a really cool discussion about one simple act. And I'm excited that you're here, Robert, not just because you're the co-founder and co-president of Brand Fuel, not just because you are the current president of Promokitchen, which is a pretty big deal, but because we can talk a little bit more about one simple act. So maybe with your perspective, having been involved with Promokitchen for so long, tell us what it's like to be the president of Promokitchen, and maybe tell us a little bit about where this idea of one simple act came from.
Sure. No, thank you for the opportunity. This industry, as you know, and pretty much anyone in the industry, it's got its pros and cons, its highs and lows, its things that it does really well, and its issues. And one of the challenges that we face as distributors and suppliers in this industry is the fact that in many cases, we have to admit it, some of the products end up in a landfill, some of them are single-use type items. There's a bit of a perception in the industry when you think of, or outside the industry of the industry in terms of and trash and things like that. Yep. We are obliged to constantly fight that battle, fight that perception. So one simple act it's really not, it's not rocket science, as you know, but one of the things that we do in our company at Brand Fuel, my business partner, Danny, and I really talk often about, different concepts in terms of bringing in purpose versus product in our industry. And I think it's critical that we, that we emphasize that in the industry. And so one of the things that we do every year for the mixer, we are looking at a theme for the mixer. And as you all know in the audience here, Promokitchen really is about mentorship and education. Right. And most of the themes that we have every year emphasize one or both of those. And I think they're impactful, and we do great giveaways, and we get people involved. And I think there's a lot of impact. But as you mentioned in the intro before we started this particular mixer was more impactful to you than maybe some of the others.
Absolutely. It really was for me. I thought I was surprised. I was delighted.
Well, you're really nice to say that. And I think one of the reasons, my guess is one of the reasons it was a bit more impactful was I think this year's theme hit a little bit more emotionally to folks. And the thought really was, with one simple act, what are the things that we can do as distributors, suppliers, service providers in the industry? What are some of the things that we can do to impact our communities in a positive way that aren't really hard to do? So I think that the feeling sometimes when we're asked to volunteer or we're asked to help in some way in some sort of endeavor is that oh my gosh, this is going to take an enormous amount of time, or this is going to cost me $100 a month to contribute, or whatever it might be. The thought is it's going to be expensive, either in time or treasure. And the thought was, what if we could poll our audience, all of the folks at the mixer, and get their ideas about what it is that we each could do that would be really simple in our communities to impact others. And specifically with the mixer, the thought was that we would do something really simple that was really impactful, and that was to write letters, short letters, to folks at a children's home, a children's hospital, and deliver those to the children's hospital and enjoy the impact of that, or have them enjoy the impact of that.
Yeah, that's the piece that touched me, because I had no idea it was coming. So when I saw, I'm going to guess, a couple hundred people, maybe it was 100, I don't know the real numbers, but there were a lot of people writing touching notes. And I just got to say, for those of you who haven't watched the video, it's on promokitchen.org. And about halfway through, there's a really touching sequence where somebody, I don't know who it is, maybe you do if you watch it and give him a shout out, but he wrote on one of his notes that, just a really, really touching message. And so I can only imagine that everyone was writing something heartfelt with some other patient, some child that was probably going through a pretty big challenge in their life. I mean, what an unbelievable opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life and do something so simple. That's why I was, genuinely touched.
No, and you're right. I think that was it was very impactful. I don't know who that person was in the video, but we were all doing it, and the folks at Starline created a beautiful cutout tree that
Yep.
for all of these things, and so that part was really nice. I think probably the original idea. Some of the folks at PromoCares had done something similar for an event, if I recall correctly, maybe several months before our event. And so the thought was, listen, there's no, pride in authorship or ownership or whatever. This is something that was impactful 6 months ago and that can be equally as impactful today. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's do something that's going to be
Right.
meaningful to these kids. And so that's where the idea came from. And I give those guys, I thank those guys for that tip, because it really worked perfectly. We delivered, I think, over 100 handwritten letters to over 100 children at the Scottish Rite Hospital for Children in Dallas. Got a really nice letter back from their director who manages that program, just emphasizing the impact that this had had. And I think specifically in terms of that episode at the mixer, I think it was one of those things where it allowed us to kind of pause and appreciate the things that are done for us and the things that we enjoy and all of the things that we're thankful for and grateful for, and in a quick moment writing these letters that are going to be impactful, and then getting back to the mixer. And it was I think it was well done, and I think people really enjoyed doing it, and I'd love to do something like that again. I think
well, hopefully we'll get the chance, and that's a nice segue to what we have collected and started on the website at promokitchen.org. So as you know, Robert, all the chefs got together and we created a new page, a new web page, where we're literally collecting these ideas and hopefully sharing them. And so we probably already have over 30 simple suggestions of one simple act that any of us could do, like you said, that doesn't take massive amounts of time or energy or resources or money. And the list is growing. So it's been really cool to see how we're sharing that, and those ripples are kind of going out, and people who care and who take the time can submit a form and add their one simple act to that list. How cool is that?
Yeah. I think it's really cool, and you were instrumental in getting that up as well as the PK team. So I'm super appreciative of that. But it's neat to see something that I think probably was impactful, but it was a one-time thing at the mixer, turn into something that we hope really has legs and can be promoted across many different medium and different companies to grow this list. Like you said, I think there are probably 40 or so suggestions now, and they range from everything from industry specific things like, why don't you turn the tables on the supplier that's coming to do a lunch and learn? Why don't you offer to pay that $100 bill this time and see their reaction to show you appreciate them, to getting out on the street and picking up trash in front of your business, whatever. I mean, it's super simple ideas, but things that actually do make a difference. You and I were talking about this before we started. Y'all can't see this, but I I stand up at my desk and I face a window right here, and it's been really hot lately. And there was there are two older gentlemen whose pickup truck had broken down. I mean, it was literally like right out of Sanford and Son. And these two guys there, the truck wouldn't start. It was probably a 58 something or other, and they were there for literally like 3 hours while I'm watching this, and it's 100 degrees out. And I just said, why don't I go in the fridge and grab a couple bottled waters, out of our industry, and bring them over to these guys. And I crossed the train tracks and walked over to these guys, and they were ecstatic. And it was absolutely zero skin off my back. The smiles that I got back from those guys, the appreciation that they felt, and it was a real sort of a real connection that the three of us had, and it was literally took 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the point, and that's what's awesome about.
For sure.
Ah, I love it. I love it. It's simple, and that's what we all need to focus on. Take that minute and look for it. Be a little bit more proactive. So let me turn the tables a little bit on you. If you remember, we every week, and tomorrow will be a Wednesday, so we'll have our promo chat. But we had one specific question from last week, Q4, question number 4 that I wanted to ask you about. And the question says, so put yourself in this scenario, Robert.
Okay.
Tell us about a time.
I told you I'm not good on the spot though, so be gentle.
You'll be fine. Tell us about a time. I know it's when you're typing, and you only have 280 characters and the questions are coming in fast, you got to be quick-witted. So this will be us live. But tell us about a time when you were on the receiving end of one simple act of kindness. How did it impact you, or how did it impact your business?
Oh, okay. Well,
Ready, go.
I can think of one that was very impactful to me, and I don't want to get too personal, but when you think of one simple acts, I think it's okay to hit the emotional buttons and get personal as long as it's appropriate. But I will say that in probably the last year, so I worked tirelessly on a book project for about a year that raised, can you still see me?
Yep, I can still see you. You're great.
I just hit a button here. That raised a ton of money for an amazing charity down in Athens, Georgia called Nucci Space.
Very cool. What is it called? One more time?
It's called Nucci's Space, NUCIS. .org, nucci.org, nuci.org. And Nucci Space is an organization that really, at the end of the day, it's about suicide prevention, and it provides free practice space for musicians in town that need it. But it also importantly gives free services to folks that need it, psychiatric services and prevention and that sort of thing. And so we created a book that took it took about a year, and it was very hard on my family because honestly I was working nights and weekends on it, and they didn't quite understand why I was doing it, but I needed to do it. The book is called The and this is not about the book itself. This is about the team here at Brand Fuel in Virginia. It was my birthday. It was October of last year, and it was right at the end of the book. We were printing 500 of these $50 huge, beautiful 400-page coffee table style books with 300, fantastic photographs of I won't get into what it's all about because that's not the point here. But the team at Brand Fuel in Virginia knew I was stressed out about it, and we all. This was right when the books were about to go to print, and there was lots of pressure. A container load of these books were coming our way, and I didn't really know exactly what they were going to look like. And I was hoping and praying that the factory in China had done them right, and Nucci's was depending on me, and a year's worth of effort was riding on this. And I was very stressed out about it, and I was very tense about it. And it was my birthday, and we all went out to a restaurant around the corner here at Brand Fuel in Virginia, and they gave me a card. And inside the card, normally everybody would get together and do a gift certificate to wherever. But inside the card, with just an incredible note, was a donation that they all had made on my behalf to Nucci Space. I had no idea.
Wow.
I'm getting chills while I'm saying it, and I literally, I'm not terribly emotional, but I literally wept at that moment at the incredible generosity that these folks showed to me that day. What it was about, Jay, was that they were noticing. They were observant enough to see that it was really important to me, that it was worrying me, and they took it upon themselves to show me that they cared about it, and went above and beyond to call Nucci Space and say, hey, how can we make this donation on behalf of for Robert's birthday? And it was probably the most impactful thing. It showed me that they really cared and they were listening. And to me, that not taking anything away from that. It was amazing, but it was a simple act, and it was enormously impactful to me, and it got me over the finish line. I was terribly stressed out about this project. It was probably the biggest thing I've taken on beyond brand fuel and my kids and marriage and stuff like that in 20 years. And they showed me that they cared, and it put new wind in my sails, and it was fantastically important to me and impactful to me. So
super cool.
That was one simple act that made a huge impact on my life.
Well, I'm so glad you shared that, and that is a big deal. And you earned it. They wanted to support you, so your team saw how committed you were to that cause, obviously. And I think it's awesome. I think we need more of that. I think we can share more of these stories. And I wish we did, and I wish we could, and hopefully we'll find a format to do that. So, but in the time remaining, since we are running out of it, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you answering that question about One Simple Act and your vision, and what we did at the PK Mixer. So anything in parting that you would like to share, concept-wise, words of wisdom, a limerick, a toast? What have you got for us before we say goodbye?
Well, I guess the last thing I'll say is, Jay, as you know, there are a lot of things in Promokitchen that we're all volunteer organization, and so there is no dearth of ideas. There are a ton of ideas, but it's really hard to put those into practice and get them done because we're volunteers. We are all it oh so well. We're working at our primary jobs and also trying to make Promokitchen as impactful as it can be. And I just want to say to the audience, stay tuned for some really cool things that we've got cooking. We've been working on a mentorship ebook that we'll let fly this week, I think. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, we're in days way.
Yeah, days, which is 40 or 50 different stories about 40 or 50 different mentorship, mentee instances and the stories behind those and what those have done for both the mentors and the mentees. We've got the On the Spot project that you took in and getting your pork into and all that. You're cooking that up, so that's going to be fantastic. Short Stack, we're kind of gonna relaunch that, which is sort of a survey type thing that we ask an important question to the PK audience and use FormStack to bring collective answers to it. But I would just say stay tuned for some really, really good things from Promokitchen. And I want to thank you for being such an enthusiastic doer in the group. We can't do it without you, and we appreciate it.
Well, it's a team. It's a big team of winners. So I feel lucky myself. I feel lucky to associate with everybody. So let's let the audience know that they can go over to promokitchen.org and that they can click on and look for our video. It's on our homepage, as well as what is the link? My mind just went blank.
I think it's on the Get Involved tab.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, Get Involved.
But honestly, I think it also directs straight to onesimpleact.org. So if you just went to onesimpleact.org, you would get to it as well.
All right. We also want to thank our supporting partner, Maple Ridge Farms, who makes this possible, and their tasty treats, which we all love. But I really want to say thanks again, Robert. You've made a difference, and that's what this is all about. So I'm Jay Busselle, and happy to be here, signing off for now on this deep dive. Until next week. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Jay. It was fun. Bye.